A very good morning to all. So in the last class, we started with the new chapter birds and we learned about different parts of the body. So which are the different parts of the body of a bird? It has 2 wings, 2 legs and 2 feet, 2 eyes, a tail, a beak, etc. And we learned about its function also. And we learned about different types of feathers. Even there are birds with colorful feathers. So today we are going to learn about the birds, the type of beaks. So we know in the last class we discussed that different birds have different kinds of beaks. Birds use their beaks to catch and eat food. So do all birds have the same type of beaks? No. Different birds have different types of beak. So it all depends on the food they eat. The shape and size of their beak depends, that suits to the food they eat. So if you take an example of a parrot and vulture, so both of them have different beaks. Why do they have different beaks? It depends on the food they eat. The vultures are carnivorous birds. They eat the flesh of other animals. So their beaks are structured in such a way. What about the parrots? They eat nuts and seeds. So their beaks are structured accordingly to their food habits. Then we learned how do these birds breathe. These birds breathe through the 2 holes which is present on their beaks. Even they breathe through their open beaks. So today let's discuss about different types of birds and their beaks. Okay, coming to the first one. Birds with strong, sharp and hooked beak. You have to see hooked beak. So which all birds have this kind of beaks? Birds like the vulture, eagle. You can see the picture of the eagle and see the beak of the eagle. It has a hooked beak. So what does this eagle feed on? It feeds on the flesh of birds and animals. So they have this hooked beak in order to catch its prey. So strong, sharp and hooked beak are for the birds which eat the flesh of small birds and animals. It helps them to catch its prey. So this is the first kind of beak. Let's see the next type of beak. Small and short beak. Birds like sparrow and pigeon, they have small and short beak. So you can see the beak here. It has small and short beak. So what do these birds eat? These sparrows eat nuts, seeds, and even pigeons eat nuts, seed, etc. And this beak, this sharp, strong beak, helps them to break and crush their food into pieces. So this beak helps them to break their food into pieces. So what type of beaks they have? They have short and small beak. Then have you seen the beak of a peacock? It has sharp pointed beak. So what do this peacock feed on? They eat both plants, that fruits, seeds and even eat insects. So it has a pointed beak. It has a short pointed beak which helps to have its food. Coming to the next one. Long pointed and straw-like beak. Here you have to see straw-like beak. So you can see the picture here. The picture of hummingbird. This hummingbird has a straw-like beak. So first of all, let me ask you, what these hummingbird feed on? This hummingbird feed on nectar. So what is a nectar? Nectar is a sweet juice present in the flower. And this hummingbird uses its long pointed beak. It uses its straw-like beak to suck the nectar from the flower. So how it sucks? It uses its straw-like beak to suck the nectar from the flower. So these birds have straw-like beak to suck the nectar from the flower. The next type of beaks are broad and flat beak. Have you seen birds with broad and flat beak? If you have noticed the duck or swan, you can see they have broad and flat beak. So what do these birds feed? What do this duck and swan feed? They feed on worms and plants that live in water. Then where do these birds and swans live? They live near ponds, lakes, rivers, etc. Then have you noticed these birds closely? If you have observed, you can see two holes on the beak of this duck. So what is the purpose of these two holes? So it feeds on these worms and plants in the water. And the water flows into their beak. And this excess water is released out through this hole. So there are birds with broad and flat beak, like ducks and swan, and they feed on worms and plants that live in water. The next one, strong and curved beak. Have you seen birds with curved beak, strong and curved beak? One example is the parrot. The parrot has a strong and curved beak. And what do this parrot eat? It eats fruits and nuts. And it uses its curved beak to break its fruits and nuts. So that is why it has a curved beak. The next one, broad, long, pointed beak with a pouch. There are birds with pointed beak with a pouch. One such example for the bird is pelican. So these birds eat fish and it has a pointed beak with a pouch. So what do these birds feed on? These birds feed on fish. The next one is beak with sharp, strong and chisel-shaped beak. So do you know any example for birds with this chisel-shaped beak? One example is the woodpecker. This woodpecker with its chisel-shaped beak make holes on the trunk of the tree. Where does it make? It makes holes on the trunk of the tree and takes insects from there. So these birds, like the woodpecker, has chisel-shaped beak which helps them to make holes on the tree. Okay, coming to the next one, toucans. Strong, broad and long beak. So these birds have strong and long beak. And where can you see these birds? These birds are found in rainforest. They live on trees. And they use this long beak to pluck fruits. So it uses its long beak to pluck fruits. So these are some of the different types of birds with different kinds of beaks. So do all birds have same type of beak? No. So different birds eat different types of food. And their beaks are also structured accordingly to the food they eat. So now we can take page number 40 in your textbook. Take the correct word. Sparrows have two options, small and short beaks, long and sharp beaks. So sparrows have which type of beak? Do they have small and short beak or long and sharp beak? They have small and short beak. So the next one, ducks have broad and flat beaks or broad, long and pointed beak. Do they have a pointed beak? No, they have a broad, flat beak. So the answer is first one. See the third one. Eagles and owls have sharp and pointed beaks or strong, sharp and hooked beaks. So what is the answer? They have a hooked beak. So what do they feed on? These eagles feed on other animals and they have a hooked beak. So the answer is the second one. So this is about the different types of beak. So do all birds have the same type of beak? No. Different birds have different types of beak, depends on their eating habits. The shape and size of their beak suits to the food they eat. So I hope you understood the topic, the types of beaks. So we'll meet in the next class with a new topic. Till then, thank you.